In this video, we will talk about the Morrigan, Ireland's Phantom Queen of War. So before we get started, make sure to hit the like button. Also subscribe to our channel. Chronicles explain the Morrigan, Ireland's Phantom Queen, is one of the most mysterious and powerful figures in Celtic mythology, often appearing as a shape-shifting goddess of war, fate, and death. She strikes fear and awe into the hearts of warriors and kings. Associated with ravens, prophecy, and the battlefield, the Morrigan is not merely a bringer of doom, but a guardian of destiny and transformation. Her triple form, Banshee, Macha, and Nemain, reveals her complex nature as both destroyer and protector. This legendary goddess continues to captivate modern minds, standing tall as a symbol of feminine power, sovereignty, and the eternal cycle of life and death. 1. Unveiling the Morrigan, goddess of war and fate. The Morrigan stands as one of the most powerful and enigmatic deities in Irish mythology. Often cloaked in mystery and awe, she is revered and feared as the goddess of war, fate, and death, appearing at crucial moments to influence the outcome of battle. Warriors believed that seeing her before a conflict was a sure sign of doom or glory. With the power to decide who lived and who died, she wasn't just a bystander. She was the force of destiny itself. Her voice could drive armies into panic, and her shadow on the battlefield foretold either victory or annihilation. As a goddess who held life and death in her hands, the Morrigan shaped the fate of nations. 2. Triple goddess. The many faces of the Morrigan. Rather than existing as a single figure, the Morrigan is most often represented as a triune goddess, a sacred trio that includes Banshee, Macha, and Nemain. Each aspect of her reveals a different dimension of her immense power. Banshee, the battle crow, was the spirit of war and terror, shrieking over the dead and wounded. Macha represented sovereignty, fertility, and the land itself, tying the Morrigan's essence to the very soul of Ireland. Nemain embodied confusion and frenzied energy, causing entire armies to fall apart in madness. Together, these three form a complete picture of war, its violence, its politics, and its spiritual toll. This triple form allowed her to exist in multiple places at once and influence events from different angles. 3. Myth and mystery. Origins of the Phantom Queen. The origins of the Morrigan are deeply rooted in ancient Celtic mythology, going back to pre-Christian Ireland, where gods and goddesses governed every force of nature. Her name is often translated as Great Queen or Phantom Queen, and she is a member of the Tuatha De Danann, a supernatural race in Irish legend. While her myths vary across sources, they consistently portray her as a force beyond comprehension, one who operates in the shadows between life and death. Her stories are laced with symbolism, dreams, omens, and shape-shifting, each a reminder that she is not bound by human laws or expectations. Even today, her origins remain partially hidden, adding to her mystique. The Morrigan and the battlefield. Harbinger of death on the battlefield, the Morrigan was not a passive observer, but an active and terrifying force. She could be seen flying overhead in the form of a raven or crow, choosing who would die and who would live. Her presence was enough to strike fear into even the bravest hearts. She didn't fight with weapons. Her power came from instilling dread, breaking morale, and guiding fate. Many warriors believed their last breath would be taken under her gaze. In the mythological Tain Bo Cuailnga, the cattle raid of Cooley, her influence was evident as she manipulated events to test and challenge heroes. War was her domain, and death was her language. 5. Symbolism and power. Crows, ravens, and prophecy. The Morrigan is strongly associated with birds, especially crows and ravens, which are seen as messengers of death and prophecy in Celtic lore. These birds became her primary form of appearance, circling the dead, cawing omens, and watching battles unfold. They symbolized the thin veil between the world of the living and the dead. The Morrigan didn't just predict the future, she shaped it. Her bird forms allowed her to see everything from above, transcending the human experience. These symbols also reflected transformation and rebirth, suggesting that death was not an end, but a necessary passage. Every flutter of her wings was a message from beyond. 6. The Morrigan and Cú Chulainn, a legendary feud. One of the most well-known tales of the Morrigan involves her turbulent relationship with the Irish hero, Cú Chulainn. She approaches him before a battle, offering her love and aid, but he refuses her. In response, she seeks to hinder him in combat by taking on various forms: a wolf, an eel, a cow, but he overcomes them all. Even as she tries to help him later, he rejects her again. Eventually, when he meets his end, she appears once more as a crow perched on his shoulder. This story captures the tragic essence of the Morrigan, misunderstood, powerful, and ever-present in the cycle of life and death. Her connection to Cú Chulainn shows her dual role as both tester and mourner. 7. Shapeshifter and sorceress. Her magical abilities. The Morrigan's power extended far beyond warfare. She was a master of magic, capable of shapeshifting into animals, disappearing into mist, or becoming invisible. She used illusions to deceive and manipulate her enemies, and her words could curse or bless with equal potency. Her transformations often carried deep symbolic meaning, turning into a crow to signal doom, or a beautiful woman to offer deceptive comfort. This ability to change form gave her an edge over mortals and even other deities. Her sorcery was rooted in ancient wisdom, often connected to the land, the elements, and the spiritual realm, making her a true embodiment of Celtic mystical power. 8. The Morrigan in Celtic belief and ritual in ancient Ireland. The Morrigan wasn't just a myth. She was part of the spiritual life of the people. She was worshipped in rituals, often at riverbanks, battle sites, and sacred groves. Offerings were made to gain her favor or ward off her wrath. Farmers and warriors alike might seek her blessing for fertility or protection. She represented the sovereignty of the land itself, and kings were sometimes said to marry a goddess like her in symbolic rites to ensure prosperity. Her presence was invoked during Samhain, a time when the veil between worlds thinned. As a deity of prophecy and transformation, she had a place in the cycles of the earth and the lives of those who honored her. 9. Modern revivals. The Morrigan in contemporary paganism today. The Morrigan is experiencing a revival in modern pagan and Wiccan communities. Seen as a powerful figure of feminine strength, transformation, and protection, she resonates with those who seek to channel ancient wisdom in a modern context. Practitioners honor her through meditation, rituals, and offerings, often viewing her as a patroness of personal empowerment and shadow work. Her archetype speaks to those facing change, conflict, or inner transformation. While many ancient myths paint her as fearsome, modern interpretations embrace her as a guide through darkness and a symbol of reclaiming power. Her story continues, evolving with each new generation. 10. Legacy of the Phantom Queen. Influence on pop culture. The Morrigan's legacy stretches beyond myth and into modern pop culture. She has inspired characters in video games, novels, television, and fantasy films, often depicted as a dark sorceress, battle queen, or wise guide. Her name and image appear in everything from heavy metal music to graphic novels, where she symbolizes rebellion, strength, and mystery. In role-playing games like Dungeons & Dragons or series like The Witcher, echoes of her power can be felt in magical warrior women and death-dealing enchantresses. Her story has outlived the ancient world, proving that the allure of the Phantom Queen still haunts and empowers our imaginations today. The Morrigan remains a compelling force in mythology and modern spirituality. Her stories echo across centuries, reminding us of life's fragility, the inevitability of change, and the fierce strength found in embracing darkness. As a goddess of war and fate, she teaches us that even destruction has purpose and that endings can birth new beginnings. Whether feared as a phantom or honored as a protector, the Morrigan's legacy endures. Her presence lives on in rituals, art, and storytelling, proving that the Phantom Queen of Ireland is not bound by time. She watches, waits, and guides, forever cloaked in shadow and sovereignty. What do you think of our video? Let me know in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button. Also subscribe to our channel before you go. Thank you for watching.